Hey there tech fans, Rick here again from the OREI team. In today's video, I'd like to show you how you can easily connect all of your media equipment to your widescreen TV by using a wireless HDMI extension kit. And the challenge is, a lot of newer displays have a very limited number of HDMI connections on the back that you can use to connect up all your media gear. So if you own a DVD player, or a game console, a laptop, a streaming box, a cable box, all of a sudden you're out of HDMI connections. And I know you can plug and unplug cables, but that turns into a real hassle. And you could certainly use an HDMI switch box, but then you've got to get up from the couch every time you want to switch between inputs, and there's always going to be new things you want to add to that system. So using something like a wireless HDMI kit like this allows you to dedicate one connection to your widescreen TV and then use this as the collection point for connection of all your devices. And that includes devices that only natively connect over HDMI or newer devices that can actually screencast over a Wi-Fi connection. So I'm going to show you how a wireless connection kit like the one I have in front of me greatly expands your connection options on your beautiful widescreen TV. Now the one I have in front of me is kind of unique. This is the OREI WHD-Pro 2T-K, and the reason it's unique is because the receiver, which connects up to your widescreen TV, uses a Wi-Fi connection to transfer media content between a device and the TV. And if you have a device like a smartphone or a tablet or some of the newer game consoles that can actually screencast over Wi-Fi, you can connect directly to this and display it on your widescreen TV. But the added advantage of this particular kit is that it comes with two transmitters that you can use with older equipment, maybe like a DVD player or a game console that can't natively screencast. You can plug this HDMI connection into that device, plug the USB-A connection into the device for power, and this becomes your transmitter that will dedicate a connection to the receiver and transfer your media content to the widescreen TV. And you can add as many of these as you want, so it just neatens up your setup because you can leave these connected up to your devices, and when you want to move between them, you just tap the button and this takes over control of that display. You can also, with this product, split screen if you want. So if you're working from home, maybe your laptop's on half the screen, maybe the other side you're watching the news reports, or maybe you've got two laptops going at the same time, and you can actually display those side by side on your widescreen. It's also a great solution if you're in a corporate environment and you've got one large screen that a lot of presenters have to present. Some of those laptops may be able to broadcast directly to this over Wi-Fi. Others that are a little bit older allow you to connect up a transmitter like this to the laptop and share that screen throughout the room. So you're not worried about plugging and unplugging HDMI cables and all the problems around resolution adjustments and all the rest of it. This just greatly simplifies things. So what I'd like to show you next is a short demonstration of how this product works and how versatile it really is to expand the connection options on your widescreen TV or that display in your computer room. It just gives you a lot more flexibility to be able to connect up a variety of devices without worrying about how many dedicated HDMI connections you have on the back. And once I finish the demo, I'll come back one more time and point out a few things that you want to be aware of if you're in the market for something like this that you can use to compare this particular product to others you may be considering. Now I'll do a short demonstration to show you just how easy it'll be to share content from all of your media devices with your widescreen TV wirelessly by using a product like the one I have in front of me. And for this demonstration, over here I've set up a small media player that's currently displaying an image on this monitor through an HDMI connection on the back. I also have my cell phone right here that's able to share content over a Wi-Fi connection. In front of me, I have the OREI WHD-Pro 2T-K wireless HDMI extension kit, and the advantage this kit has is number one, the receiver actually uses a Wi-Fi connection to transfer media content to the monitor, and number two, the kit comes with two dedicated transmitters that you can use with older equipment like DVD players or game consoles or maybe a laptop that doesn't have the ability to screencast naturally. And to use the transmitter, you'll plug this into the HDMI port, and the USB-A connection plugs into any available port on the device to provide power. Now to get started, we'll connect up the receiver first, and there are two connections you'll need to make. You'll have to connect it up to your widescreen TV with an HDMI cable. I've already plugged it into the back of the monitor. The other end plugs into the HDMI out port on the receiver. Then you'll need to add power. I've already plugged in the power supply. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs directly into the DC input port. Now the minute I add power to the receiver, it immediately starts an internal power on self-test. It checks the connection to the monitor. It's making whatever adjustments are needed to give you the best possible picture, and it's also looking for a signal that it can display in that monitor. Now I'll start off with the dedicated connection on this media player, and I'll connect up the transmitter to the back by disconnecting the HDMI connection here, plugging the HDMI cable into the HDMI output port, and I'll add the USB-A to an available USB-A port. Now again, once I add power to this unit, it immediately starts a power on self-test. You can see it's blinking. It takes a couple seconds for that to stop and for this to find the receiver. And once that comes on solid, it'll take a second, there we go. You can see it's red. The nice part about having this transmitter is that I've got a lot of control over which of the devices is being displayed on that widescreen by tapping that button. So right now, nothing's being displayed. If I'd like this to be displayed on that monitor, I'll tap the button once, it makes the connection, and you'll see that image come up on this monitor over here. There you go. Now the other advantage with this is that I have two transmitters, so I can connect up a lot of different devices that will all have access to that receiver, and that eliminates the need to start running cables and plugging things and unplugging things in the back, and you can add as many transmitters as you want. The other advantage is because this device uses Wi-Fi for the connection for that media transfer, if I have a device like a phone or a tablet or a laptop or even a game console that can screencast naturally, I can connect directly to that receiver and broadcast that image over here. So let me start off by bringing this up. And the first time you connect to the receiver, you're going to look for the name of the receiver and you'll have to enter a password. And you'll open up your Wi-Fi settings to do that. I've already done that and I've added the password already. So let me connect up to it real quick. Takes a second for me to find it. And once I find it, then I can connect to it like that. And once it makes the connection, I've got a direct Wi-Fi connection now between me and the receiver. I've connected. So let me go to my screen sharing and I'll turn on screen sharing. There's the device. I'll select it. And then you'll see that image come up here in a second. And you'll see it's a split screen, which is pretty interesting. So let me go to my videos real quick. There we go. So I've got the OREI banner running on that side. So what I've got essentially is a dedicated connection with the transmitter alongside a wireless connection to the same receiver. And again, this gives you a lot of control over who gets to present, if it's a split screen or you're dedicating the screen to one of the two inputs. And you can see the advantage of this if you've got a lot of media equipment that you need to connect up intermittently. So maybe you're using your laptop and working from home and you want it to be up on your widescreen TV. If you can natively screencast, you can talk right to the receiver and you can look at that display on a nice big screen. If you've got a game console, you're moving from room to room, or you've got a portable game console, it's really convenient to connect up to a receiver like this and not have to worry about fiddling around with cables and do you have the right cable, is it long enough? It just eliminates a lot of the headache and it really allows you to leverage your widescreen TV across the wider grouping, if you will, of different technologies. So it's an amazingly easy way to connect and it just gives you a lot more flexibility. Now if you stay tuned next, I'll point out a few things that I think are important if you're in the market for an HDMI extender like this, because there's certain considerations that you'll want to be aware of to decide which product is right for you. I hope that demonstration was helpful. Now here are a few really important things to keep in mind if you're considering adding a wireless HDMI extension kit like this one to your media setup. The first consideration has to do with resolution. This product fully supports high definition 1080p media content, which is perfect for a business setting. So if you're going to use a product like this to display web pages or maybe slide decks on a widescreen monitor in your conference room, 1080p is the perfect resolution for that setting. On the other hand, if you're going to use a system like this at home, and you've got a newer game console that's 4K or 8K, or maybe you're streaming high resolution content to your monitor, you'll want to find a system that can support that higher resolution. Another consideration is the distance supported between the media device and the receiver. This system supports 100 feet of distance, and the reason that's important is because even though you may be closer to the monitor than 100 feet, you're going to have noise in your home and in your business setting from Wi-Fi and other electrical appliances, and having a rock-solid connection that can guarantee 100 feet of connectivity means you won't have to worry about dropouts in your video or your audio. Another consideration is the type of technology used for the connection. This system uses the very latest Wi-Fi standards, which means you'll easily connect to newer devices like phones and tablets and game consoles. A lot of systems on the market may use an older version of Wi-Fi, and you could have connectivity issues with some of those devices. One final consideration is, does the system offer other ways to connect? Because you can connect from newer devices over a Wi-Fi connection directly to the receiver, but this system includes dedicated transmitters as well that allows you to include older devices like DVD players or game consoles that can't natively screencast to a Wi-Fi receiver like this one. So this system allows you to connect these up to the older devices and really greatly expand your connection options beyond some of the newer devices. And that's pretty much all I had for today. So until next time, thanks again for watching.